Hello and welcome to the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I am Ayodele Ozugbakun. Today on the program, President Buhari says he's fit to return home, but that his doctors say no. PDP targets APC senators and House of Reps members extend McCarthy's tenure by 4 months. And Usain Bolt ends glorious career with a fall in London. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Mayor Akipelu, and Mojit Jamiu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Nigerians are getting mixed signals from the presidency. Today makes it the 99th day since the president went on medical vacation in the United Kingdom. On May the 7th, President Muhammadu Buhari transmitted power to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Some months after he returned from his first medical vacation in January. But unlike the previous trip, his absence has dragged on for so long that many rumored that he died. Others believe he had become incapacitated, but pictorial evidence showed otherwise. On Saturday, Buhari's media handlers joined the list of governors and top APC party leaders who had visited him in London. They said the president could return to Nigeria, but was waiting for his doctors to give the final go-ahead. They explained that he had recuperated tremendously and was longing to come back home. There is anxiety and growing protests from the president to resume or resign. What is really going on, gentlemen? I would say for the first time, last weekend when I saw a video, I was actually so elated because it wasn't just sitting down. We saw the president moving, and let me just play a package, this report, so that at least you guys will see before we come back. I will comment on it.
Recent protests by a group Mumudondu had served to keep in the consciousness of Nigerians the notion that the president was ailing and had been out of the country for too long.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. We are all over the place.
This visit by the presidential media team was in part targeted at dispelling these notions once and for all. Led by Information Minister Lai Mohammed, it also included Special Advisor Media Femi Adesina, Senior Special Advisor Media Garba Shehu, Senior Special Advisor Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Abikaya Dabiri Irewa, and Special Assistant on New Media Loretta Onochie. They were delighted to meet the president in high spirits.
I see you every evening in the press. It's very good.
Thank you very much, sir.
At least by the press you are working very hard.
And for an hour, the presidential media team chatted with President Buhari on issues concerning his health, bringing messages of goodwill from all Nigerians and indeed countries outside Africa. The president, in response, expressed his readiness to come back into the country to resume his duties, but noted that he had learned to take orders and would wait for his doctors to give him the all clear.
I thought you were on holidays when he took over. I learned to obey the doctors.
He believes that Nigeria's actions in the Gambia earlier in the year is reason for the feelings of goodwill Nigeria enjoys across the African continent. Members of the presidential media team expressed their joy at seeing the president in such good health.
The president is very much back. He's very healthy and has not lost his sense of humor at all.
I said that now he has learned to obey orders. You know, Mr. President is a retired general. He was the one who used to issue the orders. But now the shoe is on the other foot, and he's the one that must obey orders. So he says he must obey the orders of his doctors.
This latest documentary evidence may serve to lay to rest all doubts on the president's health and put pay to calls from those who have refused to take solace from earlier visits to the president that he is indeed fit to rule.
So this video automatically puts pay to the postulation of Ayofayoshe that the president is under intensive care unit on oxygen and whatever he has said, his life
support.
support, and even at a point in time, he even threatened to release photographs.
11 pictures.
11 pictures
We are still
on on the president. I don't know where we got this from, but the bottom line is that President Buhari Jide is going to be presiding over, when it comes a sharply divided nation, because when you look at those clamoring for his exit, to resign, and those who are saying we wish him well, it's just almost at par, because people are not really happy that this was not what we were promised in 2015 when they were coming to the office. So I'm sure some people, by through aggression and everything, they've used that, indirectly transferring it to the driver of that vision.
Well, I don't know the survey that came up with those facts that Nigeria is sharply divided over the president's visit, or maybe 50% of Nigerians are not happy because he's away and all that. The truth is, yes, we never expected the president to fall sick in this manner, to the point of being abroad for 99 days. We didn't expect it, but it has happened. And you see, whatever anybody may say, many Nigerians still believe in this president, because they know that a lot of the people around him, a lot of the politicians out there do not have integrity. Buhari may not have so much money. In fact, when they showed us his cattle the other day, his cattle were skinny. They are not the kind of cattle that you see in Mambila, very fat bulls and all that. It represents the kind of person, the austere nature of Buhari himself. Buhari is not a rich individual, but he's extremely rich in integrity. He may not be rich financially, but rich in integrity, which is what resonates with so many Nigerians, which is what many Nigerians like about him. I can tell you that a lot of Nigerians actually pity him, that he has found himself in this situation. When they sit down and they look at the funny characters who are hanging around the Nigerian space and calling themselves decent politicians, they can only see people who are out to deceive. There are so many pretenders out there who say, oh, we can do it better. Oh, if I become president, I will restructure Nigeria. Things that they were not talking about from years ago. They've suddenly become converts to the restructuring preachment. But the truth is, many people feel for the president that he has found himself in this situation. And of course, he's not the only president from Africa that routinely goes abroad for medical checkup. Even the president of Angola is probably even in a worse state than our president. One is not saying that, you president of Algeria, all of you should be going abroad. We want a situation in which our presidents as Africans can have faith in the health system in their countries. But for now, that is not the situation. And that man, if he has his way, he will come to Nigeria and want to rule. But it's not enough to say that, because you are a patriot, therefore you should ignore the advice of your doctors and come and rule the Nigerian people. To function effectively as a president of Nigeria, you sometimes need to sit in meetings that will last up to 6-7 hours, or even more than that. I recall Obasanjo talking about before they found peace between Modakeke and Ife. There was a meeting that they began around 6 p.m. That meeting ended around 5 a.m. When people were saying Obasanjo was not spending enough time looking for peace in Nigeria, was fond of going abroad, going to African countries to make peace. He just gave that example. And I remember that the first time Buhari traveled over his health and he came back, there was a security meeting that the president presided over for 6 hours. So it takes somebody really, really energetic, somebody who is extremely healthy to run this country and find the time to be able to do all of what leading Nigeria requires. Which is why I slightly disagree with Elijah Lai Mohammed when he said the president is very healthy. The president has improved tremendously, but improving tremendously is not the same thing as very healthy. Because you look at the level of improvement and compare it to how he was on the night that he traveled, the night that those women, those Chibok girls, what he was saying was hardly audible. But we can see a president now who was even cracking jokes, and his voice is audible in a manner that has put Fayose to a big shame. Fayose talks about the president being in a compromised state, in a vegetative state. Maybe some people have 419'd him, took his money and sent some Photoshop pictures to him. But today, everyone can see. They were saying, oh, let us see his video. Why is he not standing? Why is it that he's always sitting when they visit him? But today, that man is standing on his feet. He can move around, and we have seen video evidence. So that represents improvement in his health. And it's our prayer for him. It's my own prayer. I don't know how other people feel. It is my own prayer that he will continue to improve so that he can do the job for which he was elected for.
Mayor, your intervention on this.
Yes, I agree with Jide to some extent, but there are some areas that I don't agree with him. I think that the president, anybody can fall ill. As an old man, he can be sick. And it is our duty to give our president the best healthcare possible. I don't have any problem with that. What I have problem with is that if the president, according to the report we've just watched, if the president can say that I am okay, but I have to have a rest because of the orders of my doctor. If he's okay, like a claim, then if you want to rest, you should come and do that in Aso Rock. Because there's a very effective and very, 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 very good clinic in Aso Rock. And he can still come back and still allow the acting president to continue, but he will just be a door away. If it's to rest, it can be a door away because he can also now, the acting president can see him and he can contribute to what we elected him to do. He cannot be in London perpetually because this is 99 day. If he's getting better, if he's sick, he deserves every time that he needs to get well. I don't have any problem with that. And it is our duty to make sure that we give him the best care possible. But my problem is that he cannot be there perpetually. If he's okay and what he needs is a rest, he should come and do that rest in Aso Rock. That's my position.
Majid, I talked about divided public opinion. Although we don't have measurement for it and the gauge for it, but at least you will have a fair idea of what Nigerians are saying about this. You saw the rally of resign or return or resign, and the counter rally by the Nelson Ekunjimi, my friend.
I don't see the need for that counter rally, really. I think it reminds me of the things, I mean, the pro and the anti-Abacha rallies, the pro-military and the anti-military rallies.
1 million man march.
All those ones. That's, I mean, there was no need for the pro-Buhari rally, really, honestly. Those who are praying for the president to be back, they are doing it in good faith. I mean, with a genuine conscience. There are some people who want the president dead because of his anti-corruption crusade. That's the way I see this. So there are some people that genuinely want the president to be back. I mean, to continue what he is doing. But for the likes of Charlie Boy, who quote and unquote fainted during the rally.
Fainted.
Well.
He's no longer, he's a 66-year-old man.
Yeah.
So he must bear that in mind. That the things, some of the things that he could do some years
whether
back.
he could withstand tear gas. So, I mean, he should know
even
that.
Luther has a limit.
Luther has a limit. And the same Charlie Boy, who during the Jonathan...
Luther has a limit.
Luther has a limit. And the same Charlie Boy, who during the Jonathan campaign took Jonathan on the bike ride And so how do you want people to take you serious if you are now saying Buhari should come back by force?
He's saying that Mumu don't do.
Well, whether,
No,
you see, the thing is, Nigerians are not daft. If you are protesting on behalf, of Nigerians, if you are saying you are doing this protest in genuine conscience, that you want the president to
Your crowd will be larger than that.
Your crowd will be larger than that, not just 8 people. 8 people asking that Mumu don't do. And you could see, although, like I said, I didn't actually like the pro-Buhari.
There was no need for it.
There was no need for
I
it.
agree with that. There's no need for it.
So, but the evidence we wanted, we have seen when the acting president went to visit the president. No picture, no video, no nothing. He only gave us reported a speech, which the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Fawashe, he did a world press conference where he criticized, he challenged the integrity of the acting president and said the acting president was actually lying to Nigerians. That he said he could swear on any oath that the president was in a vegetative state, that the acting president had just come back to feed us with lies. After that, there was a follow-up meeting where some governors went there, the leaders of the APC went there. He still didn't believe that. Then some governors from the PDP went there, and I think the Akwa Ibom governor came back and said he was surprised with the president. He saw that with the kind of things he's been fed with, he thought he would meet the president in a very vegetative state, but that he saw him very lively. Still, some people didn't believe. They said he should have spoken to them, should have spoken to Nigerians. Now, the ultimate, the video, and the way he was walking. I could see people, they were even chasing him. Although, like Jide said, the president is not fully back. But we can see a remarkable,
tremendous improvement.
Tremendous level of improvement in his health. You can see if you study the voice, the voice is still a bit mumbled, but you can hear
it's
him.
louder.
It's louder. You can study the way, you had the laughter. Very, very loud. So it's a far departure from what Fayose wanted us to believe, that the man is clinically dead, so to say. So, and it shows the level to which Nigerians should take some people, especially those. It's not all the people who find themselves in certain positions
And
that
he wanted to.
that
He said
take
he
serious.
wanted to visit the president.
He said he wanted for what for?
After you proclaimed him.
Does he want to see his dead body or what?
Proclaimed him almost like a
Almost
cadaver.
like yeah.
Now you want to go and see him to do what? How will the man feel comfortable with your presence? He can't.
And we should even discourage
How
the
will
fact
you
that
can't
people
feel
turn that place
comfortable?
to a
You can't
pilgrimage.
feel comfortable with your
We
presence.
have to prevent
Because he would think you probably come to find a way to kill him. That's the way the man would think. The man would be so terrified he would not want you around him.
Yeah.
You know? So
Okay, let me take additional. Shino is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Shino.
Good evening, Ayo.
Good evening, Shino.
good evening.
And the guests in the studio.
Yeah.
Good evening.
You see, it's a good thing that the president's health is coming back, is improving. And that is the joy for every Nigerian to see their president in good health, to do the work they are elected to do. But we pray for more quick recovery. But just the analysis when you were bringing the intro, you said there are so divided. It's coming to meet a divided country because of people who support, who said the president is not it's in life support, just like what Ayofayo said. But I want to tell you that it will not be right to allow people with dissenting voices to be so prominent in the country. I want you to catch your mind back to the issue of Rwanda, what led to Rwanda genocide. A nation that allows people to rule down their leaders, to run down their leaders openly or condemning their leaders. It's all right. Even the scriptures.
Thank you, Shino. Thank you, Shino. Shino, the beauty of it, this is democracy. You can't shut down anybody. Yeah. The beauty of it is a democracy. Jide, moving forward now, if Mr. President comes back, or anytime he comes back, I see a president that will be under another pressure. Because from the vibes I'm getting, Mr. President they might just urge him to just take a shot at the 2019 election. because with the options on ground, a lot of people will say that, look, if Muhammadu Buhari still say he's going to run for that presidency, that is a candidate to beat anytime.
I don't know whether I will come under pressure, except if you want to instigate the pressure. I don't know. I don't know.
Pressure already.
I tend to agree with it. It's going to
campaign
be
office across the country.
Hold on. It's me that you have asked the question. So you wait for me to answer your question.
So
now, your own role is to ask the question.
Yes, I've asked.
Not to attempt to answer the question.
I'm just telling you now, because you were throwing back the question at me.
Yes, hold on. If you are saying that he will be under pressure as soon as he comes back to join the race, I do not agree with that. That will take a while.
Okay.
That will take a while. He can't come into the country just because when he comes in, he will still be recuperating. I don't expect that, once he comes in, then he will start jumping around like a boxer. No. It will still, it's like when you are recuperating, there are certain steps that you need to take. The doctors will ensure even drugs that you take in line with the fact that you are recuperating. You don't just jump onto the scene like that. No, you have to take it slowly. You have to take it slowly. When you take it slowly, then after a while, you become strong again. You will even feel it. You will feel that you are getting back to how it used to be. It's just like footballers. When you break a leg, the rehabilitation is in phases. At a point, you will be playing with balls alone, you alone. Later on, when they think that you are strong enough, you can join the rest in training. You will be doing your training alone. That's the way it is. And I believe that Mr. President, the same way Mr. President will handle things. He won't come in immediately and be talking about 2019. No. But if you want to know whether today, especially in northern Nigeria, and the votes from northern Nigeria are essential, if the president decides to run, I go to the north all the time. If the president decides to run, there's nobody out there. And I'm saying it with a high sense of responsibility, with God watching me. There's nobody out there in the north who can defeat him. He's still extremely popular. If you doubt me, call people. Call journalists that you know have the decency to say the truth to their friends. He's still extremely popular. How do you gauge people's popularity? You see, long after Muritala died, you still see Muritala's picture. You see people, Marwa riders in the north, Okada riders in the north. You still see them stick Muritala's picture to their Okadas.
Yeah,
up till today, there is no one alive that people stick his picture to their vehicles, to their Okadas, to their tricycles, like Muhammadu Buhari. And that's why I called him the super tanker of Nigerian politics. He's still like that. So for him, it is actually, rather than turn against him because he's healed, there is a lot of pity and people are waiting. That's why that musician sang that song in Kasina, that Soho, Yasoka de Kwari. Once that time that the president came back, he said the old man has come back with gravitas. He stepped down from the plane with so much strength. And he's saying again that Inka Senka Kasata Kagudu, if you know that you've stolen money and you know Buhari is approaching, take to your heels. It is still very popular.
Wilson is calling us from Italy. Mayor, I'll just take your intervention quickly. Wilson is calling us from Italy. Thank you for joining us, Wilson.
Thank you very much. Good evening, the gentleman.
Good evening.
I want to, there's a question they asked for the security. From that question. You see, a healthy president is a healthy country. So, another thing I want to say about this, because I've been trying to call for a long time, so and I couldn't get through, but today I'm not to get through. One thing I want
so we are sick now because our president is ill.
If we can never go back to where we come from 1963, all this we are talking about, some people come to the stage, they will not get through. They just say what people like to say. But the truth, we can't stray away from the truth. Let us go back. We will fix ourselves. Everybody can be our president. Nobody will care. If we go back where we come.
Okay, thank you, Wilson. My time is fast spent. Mayor, just quickly,
yes,
let's run.
I consider President Buhari is very popular, especially in the north. But I think it will be a disservice to this nation if he decides to run again in 2019. Why? Because it's obvious that he's not healthy. It's obvious that he has health challenges. So I would rather prefer a president that will take care of his present health challenges, come back, do the rest of his term, you understand, give leadership to his party, and pick someone else to be able to continue the job.
Finish. Majid.
I would draw my own conclusion from the fact that we had a Jonathan who is very healthy, fit and fiddle, young, a doctorate degree holder.
In his 50s.
In his 50s. What did we get? Looting.
He ran our country aground.
He ran our country aground. He could not even, he will go for United Nations General Assembly. He will not be able to address the General Assembly.
Look at
he went to
you remember what he
couldn't
said.
Address
you remember what he said last weekend?
Last weekend.
That we could have done TSA, but party leaders were against TSA.
Were against TSA.
A president.
He said we wanted to fight corruption, but
the president Buhari did not tell you that he wanted to protest.
He's a young man.
No, we are still coming to PDP. Now, still to come. PDP target APC senators and House of Reps member extend McCarthy's tenure. Stay with us. Welcome back. The race for 2019 is building up. On Saturday, members of the People's Democratic Party gathered in Abuja for a non-elective national convention. It was their first gathering at the national level. Now, after the Supreme Court judgment that ended a protracted crisis and offered members hope, more than 5,000 of them were in attendance. Among them were PDP stalwarts who boasted of the party's readiness to retake power at the center. But the party remains fractured in some geopolitical zones and states after it lost some strongholds like Ondo, Kogi, and Edo states. Aggrieved Senator Ali Modu Sharif, beg your pardon, and Senator Buruji Kashamu and key supporters were conspicuously absent at the convention. For now, executive committees in 7 states have been dissolved and Ahmed McCarthy's tenure as the caretaker chairman has been extended by 4 months. Can the PDP regain its place as the largest party in Africa? Gentlemen, I was happy when I saw the non-elective convention and I saw the PDP coming back together as one in spite of the challenges that they went through on Saturday. Do you know when you saw that convention on Saturday, what did you have in mind?
Yes, we've always said that a viral opposition is extremely needed. Permit me to use the word extremely. It's extremely needed for democracy to thrive. I would not want a situation whereby the APC just rides roughshod on the rest of us and does what it pleases with us. There is the need for a party to constantly get the APC, to do what is right. By challenging them, they would know that, look, Nigerians need to be ruled in the right way. And that way, even the ruling party is paving way for its re-emergence in the next election. So, but if we have a situation in which, whether we like it or not, the ruling party would win, then the majesty of democracy will be in jeopardy. Democracy, to thrive, needs a virile opposition. So far, PDP has not provided that kind of opposition because beyond abusing people in newspapers, you must offer an alternative viewpoint, alternative rational viewpoint that people can see, that even the ruling government can copy and imbibe, so that we can have better governance. So for me, it's a good thing that the PDP is beginning to put its acts together. Now they're talking about taking over in 2019. I do not see the PDP taking over in 2019, but I see a PDP that will perform better than it did in 2015 because all the conditions are there. The conditions precedent to solid performance by a party, an opposition party, we can see some of those conditions. The crisis in the APC control states and the rest of it, there are at least 7 states, between 7 to 10 states where the APC has crisis within that the national leadership has not been able to solve. No effort is even being made. I read a story that that efforts were being made to reconcile Dino Melaye and the governor of Kogi State. But Dino Melaye is not the person to reconcile. Because the person to reconcile is the person who was cheated out of the governorship of the state by someone who came from the blues, who came from nowhere, by someone who had defected, you know, to a court party and refused to work for the APC. So if you want to reconcile, it is not Dino that you will even be going after. It's Faleke that you should talk to. No single meeting has been called by the national leadership of the APC since the whole crisis began to try to reconcile both men. And the truth is, the APC structures in the state are not controlled by the sitting governor. You can see that even the APC chairman in the state is always attacking the governor. So the man who has inherited the structures of the party in Kogi State is Faleke, who worked with the late Abubakar Audu, who was in charge of the structures, in charge in inverted commas. So what are the efforts that you are making? What are the efforts that you are making in Kano, for example, where we know that Kwankwaso, no matter the pretense that you see, that Kwankwaso and Ganduje are not on good terms. And everyone knows that Kwankwaso is a very vindictive politician. If you know his history, he's not likely to forgive. So it's either you reconcile them or you leave, you wait to see a situation in which you either work for a rival party. And that thing is common in Kano. Remember that Mohamed Abacha was supposed to be the candidate of the party. Because he was not chosen, they worked against, that was the candidate of the CPC. Because he was not chosen, they worked against the CPC. And CPC that had won with a huge margin in the presidential election for Buhari, they decided to go and vote for Kwankwaso. So even this Kwankwaso would not have become governor if not for the crisis within the CPC. So if you know that this is the background, that these people sometimes vote against the... How did even Kabiru Gaya become governor in 1992? Kabiru Gaya was of the NRC, whereas the dominant party was the SDP, where you had Rimi, Sule Lamido, and the rest of them.
All right, Mayor, looking ahead now, do you see the PDP, the performance, do you see them clinching the presidency in 2019?
No, they can't. I don't think the PDP is strong enough to win the presidency. I believe that. But I'd like Jide said, they're going to improve on their showings of 2015, partly because the mainstream people in PDP are the one in control of the party now, unlike when Modu Sharif and Kashamu were in charge. And that is why people like Kashamu have found himself outside the power loop now. May end up either going to APC or going to another party, because I don't think they'll probably accept in the APC, so they'll probably go to another party. So I don't see the PDP winning on the federal level in 2019, but they are going to do far better than they did in 2015.
Far better than
they did in 2015.
Mojid, what's your postulation?
What I read from the convention is they used the non-elective convention as an avenue to celebrate their Supreme Court judgment and to also recover from the shock of the defeat of the 2015 presidential election. I mean, it's glaring now that they are fully recovered from the shock of that defeat. And for them to assume that they will come back to Aso Rock, they call it our Aso Rock, quote unquote. That's what they say. It's like The way somebody.
Come to think of it, they've been the only occupant since 1999.
Yeah, that's why they said it's the Aso Rock. So, and now somebody from the Sheriff camp said immediately after the convention that it's just laughing at them because the Sheriff camp actually did a total boycott of the convention. Now he said when they had the knife, the pot, the yam, and all the other ingredients, they could not make a good meal for Nigerians to eat. That is it now that they don't even have a knife, a yam, a pot, or even any ingredient that they'll be able to prepare a meal, which means funding is very, very critical and essential for the prosecution of a presidential election. Where would they get the funding from? Jonathan ran away from from being the BOT chairman because he was afraid of funding the party. All the other people dodged the responsibility of, being that rallying point.
Is the BOT chairman supposed to fund the party?
But who is going to fund them? Even the governors that they are expecting funding from, the likes of Wike and Akwa Ibom and Delta, they will chicken out. And look at the body language of Dixon. Dixon is pro-sheriff.
No, not really.
But he has been very quiet.
He's not in the country.
And even, of course, he handed over to his deputy, is on vacation. But even then, he's been very quiet. So for them to think they'll come back to Aso Rock, they need to do double of what they did, to double the efforts that put up in 2015. And it's not going to be a tea party. And APC will not just fold its arms. And,
can't even see that happen.
But then it's a very good development that now at least we have something that seems like a viral opposition coming from a somewhat united PDP.
Jide, especially the challenges we have in those states, especially the southwest zones and everything, and like in the southwest now, I overheard Governor Ayofayoshe saying that how will somebody say they should hand over the structure of the southwest for him? That he was referring to Senator Buruji Kashamu. Buruji Kashamu, in plain language, is saying we don't recognize the Eddie Olafeso leadership of the People's Democratic Party in the Southwest. And if you remember, they actually dissolved the committees in 7 states. Yeah. What might have informed this move? Is it to just make sure they forestall any...
You see, the thing is, when we say that the PDP can bounce back, we are saying that the APC has to be careful. On the day, I won't answer the question, I just want to provide some background. On the day that the Supreme Court gave that judgment, many current APC members were calling McCarthy to congratulate him. Even McCarthy was shocked and was saying, even this one is calling me. So there are people, and I've said it repeatedly, that there are people in the APC that will go with their hearts in the PDP.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Very soon.
So what you will see is that some people, they want to contest. They want to go and contest in the PDP, but they will first send their own boys to go and join. You saw what happened with Alamin Little in Kano. He just joined the PDP last week, and Alamin Little sent 30 buses loaded with supporters to the convention ground. So some of these people will leave. Look at what the minister did, the Minister of Women Affairs. Alazan went to the PDP secretariat
Wadata Plaza
after the victory of the McCarthy.
Really?
He went there.
The 7 minister?
Yes. Went there to greet them and say, oh, I'm here. I want you to encourage.
Not really great. It's because there's a program that they needed their support.
See.
They needed the support of PDP.
She didn't need to be physically present. I know what I'm talking about.
Because
she didn't need to be physically.
PDP dominated.
No, the thing is, she went there and said, we want you, the PDP, to support women, this and that. You can say that as we are not by physically going to the headquarters of a rival party. So
7 minister.
Yes. And look at the timing of the thing. If you did that maybe a week after or 2 weeks after, the thing will have cooled down. This thing has just happened. The man was receiving solidarity visitors and all that, and you went. Well, whatever is our plan. I really do not care. But I know APC members who have been calling. Some of them are saying, look, if you can give me this position, I will decamp. That is a fact.
Correct.
They are giving all kinds of deals, and they are talking. That's why the PDP could boast sometime last week that about, 7 or 9 big wigs are ready to join us. Yeah. It's a fact. There's no doubt about it.
It's just the mind game that APC used to use then.
Politics is an interest-driven game. There are people who believe that their interests will be better represented when they move to another party. Do you honestly think that if things stay the way they are, a Dino Melaye has a future in APC? Do you really think so? With the way he's waging war against his own party on the floor of the National Assembly? So these things are there. But the truth is, now Supreme Court affirmed that the National Convention of the PDP is the most powerful organ of the party. It can take any decision without looking back. It can even sack a sitting chairman of the party. So they have gone to that convention and they took the decision to dissolve the factions of the party in the various states, Kebbi, Adama, and all that, so that people like Kashamu can see clearly that they are marooned. They've been blown out of the water. All they can do now, because there's no court that they'll go to. Note that even on the day, 24 hours to the convention, the PDP survived 5 different cases trying to stop the convention. This non-elective convention. But the convention has taken that decision. Let's dissolve all those ESCOs. When they've been dissolved now, there's nothing Kashamu can do again. That's why it's now saying, look, don't destroy our party. What he's saying now, the tone of what is emanating from that man, the tone of his language now is calmer than sometime in the immediate past.
Let me take Samuel from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Samuel.
Because he has a successful judgment.
Good evening.
Let me, from the last discussion, let me take on something that Jide said. That all Northerners will vote for Buhari. That is not true.
I didn't say all Northerners. I didn't say all Northerners. I said if they do an election today, he will win.
Let me finish, Jide.
No, but you said, I said all Northerners, not all Northerners.
Because this is the president who has refused to disclose his health status to us. He has refused to disclose the health status to us. Where is the transparency? And then, that's the subject you're discussing now.
All right. All right. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. And the PDP is going all out now, right now. They want to, they are promising permanent seats.
I want to make one point concerning Southwest. I don't think you had the last of what is happening in the Southwest PDP. Because Buhari Kashamun's faction has a subsisting judgment, affirming that their own faction is the authentic executive. And that judgment has not been appealed against, so it's still subsisting. And I don't want us to just wave it by the side, because why Buhari Kashamun became so powerful in Ogun politics was when Baba Obasanjo and Governor Ojidi, they didn't care, they felt, who is Kashamun? He went to court, got a judgment to say this is the authentic executive of the party. By the time they realized it, the instruments of power for the party was in his hands, and it became the determinant of everything that happened in that state. And he has a subsisting court judgment.
Let me round off on this. Mojit, your final take on this. PDP is actually shopping for APC members to give APC a kind of dose of what they gave them in 2015.
It's not impossible, especially if you consider the fact that in an unusual way, we have somebody from the opposition party as a deputy presidential, or as the deputy president of the Senate, and in the name of Ekweremadu. We have so many other Ekwuremados like that who are wearing the caps of
many
APC.
of those NPD people.
So the natural, they most probably go back to their natural habitats. When the chips are down. So it is not impossible. PDP knows what it's saying, and just like Jide said, the likes of Dilo Melaye is on the swing. You can tilt to anywhere.
All right, thank you for that. Still to come on the program, I'm going to have Usain Bolt on a very, very disastrous final lap. Join us after this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It was heartbreaking finish for Usain Bolt's athletics career at the IAAF World Championship. The 60,000 capacity stadium in London was primed for the last Bolt show. But the Jamaican's great golden farewell was shattered. He crumbled to the track with the left leg injury while chasing a final gold medal for his country's 4x100 meters relay team on Saturday. It was the first injury he had experienced at a major competition. This injury showed clearly why Bolt is ready to retire. His body can no longer hold up. After 16 years of competing on the international stage, fans of the athletics will likely never see him run another competition. At the competitive track race, the 30-year-old first competed at the international level at the 2001 IAAF World Youth Championship in Hungary. Over his career, Bolt has amassed multiple world records, including 9.58 in 100 meters seconds in 100 meters and 19.19 in 200 meters, and a partial owner of the 4x100 meters relay with records of 36.84 seconds. I have a senior producer, presenter of sports, Juliet Mafwa. Juliet, what kind of exits? Because it came last week, the 100 meters. I was actually personally, I'm a fan of Usain Bolt, and the 100 meters was so disappointing for me. And
we're still trying to recover from
the
100 meters.
As if that wasn't enough.
And then we were hit by that sad ending.
Yes.
You know,
what happened?
Personally, I cried. I told colleagues I cried because, like you said, I think everyone is a huge fan of Usain Bolt, especially at a period when athletics was marred by the whole doping scandal. It seemed to be the only shining light. It seemed to be the only one saving the sport. So for him to have such an ending, it was quite a shocker, quite a stunner, and very, very saddening. Especially an ending that saw him fall. I mean, with an injury like that and having his teammates have to gather around him to lift him up. But kudos must go to Bolt. He still had his pride. He still managed to get to the end point. He wanted to get to the end point as a true legend that he is.
Let's talk about his the first 100 meters that he ran. He was taught, and even the person that the Gatling that emerged did not come close to his record.
Yes, I think it's obvious that it's not something is not clicking for him. He's not fit for this last, and I think he should have missed the competition. I think he should have missed the competition because you see, Bolt has one major problem. He's a late starter. But because of his pace and power, he used to catch up in the final third. But the problem is that because he's not as fit as he used to be, again, he was a slow starter, but the gap was too much for him to catch up. You understand? And it shows that things are changing. I would have preferred, but because of his legendary status, if I'm his advisor, I would tell him to go back like Federer did, try to get himself fit, and come back for one last competition.
No, I don't think.
You know why I want? You know why I said that? I don't want us to. You know, because it was like Mayweather. Just like Mayweather was to boxing, it was like that to athletics. And he's a showman, and he did everything that looked impossible. And unlike Gatling, he didn't dope. At least it was not caught doping.
No record.
You know, there was no record of him doping.
All the people around him were caught.
Yes, there was no record of him doping. So it shows that it was like a legion in the sports. If it goes now, nothing can affect his
like
status.
You don't want the last picture of
but I don't want
to be that same.
But my problem is that I don't want us to remember Bolt his last picture of him just with that fall on the ground, not the kind of legend that we wanted him to be.
One other colleague of mine, Solomon Ajuzogo, told me, yesterday that that since 2014 or so, that Bolt has been selecting the race he will participate in, that because he was doing it naturally and he has stretched that body that normally is just 30, 31, and Gatling the likes of 36, 35. But Bolt was doing it naturally and that body could not hold up again.
struggling?
Well, even if you are competing naturally, there's a limit to which your body can take. The way it did what looked impossible in athletics, it's extremely difficult to find somebody that tall, 6 feet 5 inches, and 94 kilograms, and be able to run at that pace. You know, he started as a 400 meters runner, and then those long strides. So to do 100 meters his record 9.58. 200 meters, his record is 19.19. It's extremely difficult to come up with such efforts in athletics, and he must have put his body through a grueling regime. So after a while, you get tired. The body begins to tell you that, look, I can't take it anymore. And that's why I agree with Mayor that he shouldn't have been part of this. Yes. Remember that night we were watching him? Juliet and I were watching him just before his first hit. You know, he just managed to win. He just managed to win. Yes, you can. The truth is, many athletes don't start well. Even Carl Lewis, our own Chidimo, never always began well. But along the line, they will catch up with the long strides and all that. But it was clear that this guy was not in the best physical shape for the World Athletics Championship. So I would have preferred that he left the scene on the high. Olympics. But you see, there is pressure through from sponsors, from other people. Look at a little boy who was just 5 years old when Michael Phelps met him, the guy from Hong Kong. It came to defeat Michael Phelps, his idol. Because Michael Phelps could have left on a high, and that boy would not have been able to compete with him and even defeat him. So I felt that, yes, 11-time world champion, 8 Olympic gold medalists, 8 gold medalists. So you had nothing to prove again.
And besides, prior to the World Championship, he was already having this injuries, series of back injuries. He even had to travel to Germany to treat it. So right after the Olympics, these injuries kept on reoccurring. So the sign was already there. You can't keep up. I think it's a problem.
How about what we had that hours before the last race, he was partying. The pictures are all over the internet. He was partying, you know. And then he was drunk. He was drunk on Hennessy.
His teammate Johan Blake. Johan Blake blamed it on the medal ceremony. You know, they had to make them wait.
Have had an effect.
They had to make them wait for Mo Farah to be handed his medal, as well as the girl from GB, and so they claimed. Because according to Blake, it said both came up to him while they were in the room and told him, I'm feeling this, cramps on my leg and all that. And he felt, okay, just shake it off, just warm up. But eventually it came to play. So we've heard these funny comments like, are you sure it wasn't both knowing, I'm going to lose, so...
No, but if you are preparing for a major race, your final race, were you supposed to indulge in binge drinking,
He actually
that is all over. It's all over the internet. Hours before the race.
He's claiming he did that after the whole race.
That is
actually.
I don't think he would do that.
The pictures I saw was after the race last night. The pictures I saw was last night.
Maybe after the race.
Where he got drinks for everyone.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think he would want to. I don't think he would do that.
Because especially after
and run away.
So the bottom line is that Blake both shouldn't have participated.
They
are left on
the last Olympics.
A lot of great sportsmen really don't know when to call it quits. We as humans really, it takes us a whole lot to call it when the ovation is loudest, really. I mean, imagine if you had bowed out at the Olympics. That's the picture. You want to remember both on the podium. And now you finished without a gold. Won only a bronze at the World Championships now.
That's not. It must come back.
And they ended it all with a fall.
It must come back.
In front of 50,000.
I want to thank you. I really have to go. Juliet Mahapa, thank you.
Right.
It's short, but I really enjoyed the analysis. I want to thank you, Major Akipelu and Babajide Otitoju. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat tonight on DSTV 418, GoTV 45, and you can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Zubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.